if you don't learn how to get everything that you want in life, you're going to want to take Baki as an example in Baki season 2 when he starts to visualize. He starts to visualize one fight his father at the end of one of the part 2 of season 1, season 2. He also starts to visualize fighting other boxers, fighting animals, fighting dinosaurs, fighting all these different elements within his own mind. And this is what you have to do as well too. If you want to find success, if you want to have any sort of endeavor, at least from what I've been able to realize over the past couple of months, is that I see it first in my mind's eye. So we can look at this in terms of, say, watching a professional football player or a professional athlete of some sort. Or maybe you can do this. I'll use a bowling example because I used to bowl a lot. So when I would go bowling, I would hold the ball in my hand and I'd visualize me getting a strike. And then when I would bowl a strike because I saw it in my mind first. And this is something that you maybe haven't come to realize since you have been watching my videos, is it's going to start within you, not without you. Where the world is always telling you it's outside of you, but it's like the kingdom is within, as Jesus says. So if you're able to find these small little tweaks and changes that you can start to visualize and see in your life, if it's fighting an enemy, if it's having a conversation, if it's you, say, getting in a shape, you visualize yourself doing it first. The yogis talk about this as well. If you can do that, then you can start to defeat the enemies that stand in your way. Because like if we think about it this way, Baki never would have beat his dad if he wouldn't have visualized all the other opponents and elements and animals and creatures that he fought to be able to become stronger. We have to see it first within us before it starts to become manifest in the external world. This is going to take some time. It's going to take some practice. At least it did for me. Required me to meditate first thing in the morning and then in the evening after I would shower, because you kind of need to meditate both days when you start to look within. And there's a couple of other videos on the channel too. I believe it's the one with Luffy and how he was able to become Joy Boy. I give an example of meditation in there, so you can check out that video after this. But yeah, what you want to do is like look within yourself. Find something that you want to visualize and believe it to be true. It's talked about in The Power of the Subconscious Mind, which I talked about that book and the other video that I did around how devils manifest or are manifestations of human desires, basically. So you can check out that video as well too. It's a little bit more in depth around this concept. But like the main thing is, if you can see it within your head, if you can see it happening within you when you're just sitting by yourself, then it'll start to become real in the external world. Like Baki, he was getting thrown up against the wall and like getting beaten and battered and punched and bloody and bruised and broken bones and all these other crazy things without him even having that physical animal or fight character in front of him, because he saw it within his mind. This is something that it's really kind of cool once you come to this realization, at least once I've come to this realization, is seeing it within my mind first, physically experiencing it and feeling it. And here's another example that maybe you have thought about or maybe you haven't tried, but like just humor me for a minute and just try this for just a quick second. Like imagine and hear a song, like a song, your favorite song, or you can even listen or hear a favorite line from your favorite anime character, or a word or phrase spoken by your mom or your parents or somebody that's close to you. Like just close your eyes and hear it. Okay, so you see how you did that? You see how you're able to be transported to a different place, and you heard it as if it was happening on the outside of you, but it was happening on the inside of you. Our brains can't tell the difference between what is real versus what is imagined. And that's the great part about having a subconscious and a conscious mind, is because you can initiate commands to your subconscious and then it'll do the work for you instead of you having to do the work for yourself through the conscious mind, through conscious thought. It's talked about in psychocybernetics. This concept is all over in many different books and many different teachings because it's a universal principle. And once you have an understanding of a universal principle, then it becomes a lot easier for your life to change in the positive direction that you're wanting it to change in. If you didn't have these principles, if you didn't have these understandings, if you didn't realize that like the story that Baki is telling in season 2 where he's able to fight people that aren't actually there, and when you look at it a little bit deeper and realize that it's a blueprint for how our minds actually work and how we can also fight enemies and play out roles or characters or conversations prior to them actually happening, so that then when we do come into that said situation, we've already been prepared and briefed on that because we already played through the mental roles through our own mind. I would do this when I was doing sales. I would lay in bed at night and I'd replay certain scenarios or conversations in my head. I do the same thing like with conversations that I have now. Like I would lay back and I'd sit and I'd be like, okay, I should have said this differently. Okay, I can say it differently this way. Okay, I can take a step back. Okay, I can ask this question. Okay, I can phrase this perspective or ask this or follow up with the conversation this way, or maybe pause a little bit here, give this person more time to speak. And I would play through these scenarios through my head in an imaginative role, which in turn made us when I came into a similar situation next time, because all things are cyclical, they all repeat in a circle, I was more prepared for that said situation. I think I might have said this on a different video beforehand too, but like even when I've wanted to go out with girls too, and I wanted to visualize and I wanted to have some fun with them, I would visualize what I would do and how it would happen and what would work. And it might not have happened in the exact same way that I saw it, but it's pretty dang close to the exact same way that I saw it. This is one of the most underrated skills and powers and characteristics and traits and just levels of skills that you can level up and acquire in your life. And if you're able to understand that, like, your mind is the controller of everything and nothing on the outside of you means anything unless you give it the permission and the authority to come inside of you, then your life will become a whole lot easier. You can defeat the dinosaurs, the enemies, the grasshoppers, the praying mantises, the enemies that stand in your way, because you visualize them in your head first. Because as we saw in Baki Season 1, he got strong enough to defeat all the enemies and characters, but he wasn't able to find anybody else stronger than those enemies and characters that he had defeated. So he had to find and get creative on finding new ways to defeat different enemies and different characters that would challenge his strength and his resolve and his spirit more than the people that existed on the external world, because they weren't challenging him in the same way that his internal mind would. And this is why your mind is the most powerful and the mind is just the thing that you have to overcome the most. Like, if you can't overcome your mind, if you can't overcome your thinking, if you can't overcome your self-limiting beliefs, then you're going to be stuck. Whereas if you start to realize that the self-limiting beliefs and the things that you thought was impossible just requires you to change your mental processing and your mental thinking and your mental view of things, your life becomes a whole lot easier. At least it has for me, because I can see how Baki was able to visualize these enemies. So I visualize the enemies, I visualize the thoughts, I visualize past experiences, and I go back with the level that I am at now, because I have grown and I have evolved, just as you have as well too. And then I'm able to defeat the enemies that stand in my way. If you want to do the exact same thing, subscribe to the channel, sit down on your couch tonight, meditate, and just be with yourself and see what you can visualize, see what you can conjure up in your imagination, because in all likelihood, once you see it there, it'll start to become real in the external world. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, just let me know. Leave a comment down below. I'll keep trying to give a little bit true nature of these animes that you're watching compared to just the basic surface level stuff where you see online, where it's just like, oh, this person did this, and then there's all these weird noises, and then there's a meme, and there's all this other blah, 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 blah. Like, it's cool, it's entertaining, but is it really going to help you improve your life? Probably not. So you might as well keep coming back to these videos, because I want to hopefully inspire you, which it seems like that's what I'm doing, to live a more meaningful life. Talk to you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.